All right, cyber traders, welcome on back here this Tuesday. I was about to catch myself and say Monday, but Tuesday, January 19th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. Welcome on back here for our afternoon meeting. Let's get a quick sound check across the board just to begin. Make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. Perfect. Good to go. I didn't do it right before we started here. So Louis, Don, Gary, Renzo, great to see you once again. William, John, Kathy, loud and clear from all. Perfect. And for all of us on social media, Facebook Live and YouTube, welcome on back. We have the BVXV trade to begin things off here. One of our students, I think it was Norman, had called this out just before. So, hey, really good call from Norman, right? I mean, either way, it's pushing up beautifully, popped nicely from 4. So he alerted us about 5 minutes ago as it was beginning to peak up towards 450 for the first test. It was getting halted at the time. It reopened up, ended up shaking around. Now, the thing that really catches my eye right away on this stock, and if it wasn't this past week on the afternoon meeting, it was probably some point here, but we ended up seeing the stock get crushed going back into mid-October. It was down 85+%. So anytime you see a stock drop as much as this did, you have to anticipate a squeeze up at some point. Normally, it's on the day of, and we ended up seeing this begin to push up nicely back in October 23rd from 4 to 829. Well, it obviously dumped back down. We're not going to swing trade this, folks. We're looking to get in, get out within the same day, and not to hold on throughout the whole day because, like I just said, this stock ended up dropping off pretty sharply and then ended up closing at like 520. It took a long while for this to even begin to show some signs of life. Going back into early December, it looks like we had a big pop, and here we are now. So, yeah, heading into the afternoon, I would love to see this even make a fraction of the potential gap for it to fill. So, easily we're going to put this on our main list to start the BVXV trade to begin. I will. Let me just jump right to Benzinga Pro. I do want to check to see if there's any news pumping this up. Nope, no news that I see at least here. It could just be traders looking to cover short, day traders like us, maybe to look at it, get on the run. I don't know what the float is on this stock. I wouldn't expect it to be too big. So just follow the volume, especially the volume bars show a good visual as far as seeing how fast the volume will die off on a trade like this. It's kind of started to even after this drop off. Right? It's perking back up. Doesn't mean it's going to continue going. You hope for it to, obviously. So, at this point, let's make sure we can continue to see some support show on the bid at 460, 450. Hopefully, there's going to be a big order there right here. Speak of the devil, or not the devil, speak of the angel. 43,000 share order on the bid, so long as that holds at 464. Beautiful timing. If I don't say so myself. All right, cool. So nice push there so far in BVXV. There we go. Jeez. I always like to make sure we're prepared for the worst, folks. So I said the volume is dropping off, and be careful. Make sure it doesn't break lower. Right as I say that, thing just pops. There we go. Beautiful. All right. So, what we'll do is just recap, what we ended up trading from the morning. I did a lot of that in our Traders Talk workshop earlier today for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube. You see the link down there below. Just join our YouTube channel. And from there, sign up for our trial every week, Monday to Friday, we're here. And every Tuesday, we do a live workshop, that being today. So, for instance, really quickly, let's talk about the BlackBerry trade, or at least show it. BB ended up making a beautiful breakout after the market opened up today. We really covered the X's and O's in that Traders Talk workshop, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing again. But for right now, heading into the afternoon, it's still kind of strong near the highs. High of the day 1190. It's 1179 right now and counting. So I like this stock still. It still seems like heavily traded across the whole day, 83 million shares. It's not as much as it was on Friday, but that doesn't mean it's not overtraded. It definitely is. So let's make sure this continues to pop up higher. You have your next resistance ahead at 12 bucks on the ask here. You can't really see it, but I would assume for there to be a major iceberg order here at 12 bucks. If it goes up an extra penny or two, it'll probably pop in there. That BVXV trade is going to get halted pretty soon, folks. That keeps going. We'll jump back to that later on. But, BlackBerry, for the meantime, ended up pushing up pretty nicely after the market opened. Still kind of strong right now. So I don't mind slipping this on our list here for right now. All right, I'm just looking at my Traders Talk list here. That's right. We had the TRXC trade, and since we left off on, where we last left off on this TRXC trade, man, this thing just kept popping, and still strong right now, obviously. So, TRXC, we ended up covering from 275 level, 270, the opening print. So once it ended up really breaking back over that line, it ended up running up very nicely. It got a little choppy, though, heading into the mid to late morning after 10 a.m. Eastern time here. So you could see it holding pretty well underneath 3. From there, it made the pop. It died off, though, pretty shortly after. So I lost track of this stock. I moved on to a different stock, but we ended up seeing the stock break higher from 315, 320 level. We called it out from that point, and man, this thing has just kept going. I wish I could say I jumped back in this trade when it broke over 320 or 350, or obviously now on the way back up to 4. I'm not. For all of us inside the trading room, let me know if anyone's in this TRXC trade right now, or still are in it from earlier this morning. Type it in the chat board. Just let me know. At least for the meantime, you could see it did break over 4 already, pulled back pretty sharply, 20 cents. So perhaps if it could re-break above 4 later on today, we'll see it make an easy higher high. Norman says that he was in it earlier. Okay. All right, so TRXC, wow, I jump back to this right now and I saw this. Wow, this thing's still pretty strong. I didn't expect this to be at the highs or maybe just coming off a 4 here. I haven't really checked in with this over the last 30 or so minutes. So, man, this thing is making a really strong run right now. All right, so, what we'll do is go from top to bottom, folks, for any of the others that we ended up trading and for any of the other ones that we ended up calling out. There were plenty that we ended up calling out early this morning. We'll look to, go over it pretty quickly. The ACRS, though, obviously number one. Ended up taking off, maybe not right away after the market opened, but shortly after, give it about 30 or so minutes, ended up making this huge pop from right around 10 a.m. Eastern time, broke over high of the day off of 15, really 1450 level. But once it broke higher, it ended up taking off pretty sharply, ended up breaking higher heading into the late morning here where it got halted. And obviously goes to show how sharp of a run the stock made to go up 2 points higher from after it got halted. And that's after a huge run up to even begin. So, this ACRS was a hell of a move from earlier today on the way up. Now, the thing, though, about this stock, I don't know why or how this is even possible. Maybe it has a high float, but this stock is shortable. Floats 37 mil. It's not really that high. It's not like super low, but, not really that high at all. This stock is shortable. I bet you Fausto would have no interest in that type of move, right? There could be plenty of easier moves heading into the afternoon. The stock is, showing a big spread, thin, light volume on the bid and the ask. So you need to really be careful on a trade like this. Just knock my phone over. But for right now, it looks like it's beginning to pull back more selling coming in off 17 and 1720 there. I don't mind coming back to this at the very end. You're slipping this on our list at the end here, ACRS. As a short, by the way, not as a long. And if it breaks back above 17, starts hold, then maybe you consider otherwise. But this stock has ran 188+%, obviously more than that since it hit like $20. But yeah, I don't think there'd be as much more room on the upside here. I say that, but then the GRTS trade just keeps going up too. Another oncology ticker. The only reason I say that, folks, is because CLVS, not only from today, I mean, really, this is a stock we're pretty familiar with, Clovis Oncology, and just thought, pretty interesting. So we'll come back to that one in a moment, but GRTS, man, this thing just keeps going. Ended up breaking above resistance off of 10, the previous high of the day, pre-market highs going into the late morning, took off like a rocket. I don't think this got halted on the way up once. Doesn't look it, at least. Very interesting. For right now, let's just check out actually the volume bars on the right-hand side because that'll be easier to go through. But yeah, you could see after this big pop and drop here, it did inch up a little bit higher, but now kind of pulling back more. Right around 2:23 Eastern time, my guess would be the breakout above or underneath 15 to where we saw this big spike here on the matrix. Definitely the most amount of volume filled within that range. So yeah, 15, really strong level heading into the afternoon. The GRTS trade, again, it seems like this is a little bit stronger right now in its direction up compared to the ACRS trade, but the stock is also shortable. So if it holds underneath 15, if it does a pop and drop back under 15, then maybe you short it from that point. I'm going to put this on the side, kind of tag this along with the ACRS trade. Pretty interesting that I wouldn't put number 1 and 2 on the gainers list on the watch list when both seem to be kind of tradable, but I want to see if there's just easier stocks than those heading into the afternoon. We don't have to try and trade the wackiest, the craziest, the one that's up the most. We don't need to. Like, I would rather this INOV or INUV trade, right? INUV ended up making a nice afternoon run up heading into like 1 p.m. Eastern. Obviously broke out to 150 just now. Let me type in on Benzinga Pro here while I have this up. I don't mind doing it for this one. This one we'll probably just put on our watch list, but let's see if there's any news on this stock. INUV. I'm not familiar with this ticker. Looks like pretty interesting. The thing that I see last week, they ended up pricing 13 million share common stock offering at 60 cents a share. Remember, we were talking about that last week, saying that anytime a company does like a common stock offering, it's not like always good, but it's not always bad. Like, you might think it's bad news when the stock gets crushed off of news of a common stock offering, but looks like this was a relatively shorter drop off from last week, and then obviously today the big move up. So I don't know if there's any other news outside of what I just said, but that's all I see here for right now. INUV definitely I'll put on our main list though. All right, we'll keep it moving. Dare. I'd also follow Dare here heading into the afternoon. Another bioscience stock. This one looks really strong heading into the afternoon. Actually, just rebroke over 250, so hopefully it could hold nicely from there. But more so, really just begin to break out higher right now. Yeah, I'll put this one easily on. All right. I don't know if there's news within a specific sector here, or if there's a bunch of stocks up big that are all shortable there too. So God forbid if we see these stocks crap out the other way, where normally you wouldn't be able to trade it, you actually would be able to trade this stock. There's no news on this trade here, at least. Dare. It looks like Benzinga even wrote, not currently seeing company specific news to justify the price action. Oh man, everything's starting to move back up here. Gevo from last week, from the week before that. I mean, really, the last month has been nonstop Gevo. And today, obviously, took off a little bit after the market opened up too. Broke out from 850, took off sharply all the way up towards just about 1130, pulled back, and then broke higher. So, we are really familiar with this trade. It kind of looked as if it wanted to push back up here. Now kind of pulling back down. This definitely is the type of stock that leads me to ask, for as much as this stock ran up even just from the last few days, when is it going to begin to, pull back? We start to see more sell off or whatever the case may be. So, oh man, I'm kind of selling myself from, I'm kind of like telling myself to not put this on the main list just yet. I'm kind of writing this alongside that CRT or GRTS and ACRS trades. All right, we'll see if there's anything else that looks even more convincing than this. Let's see what else we got. AVGR broke high the day after 2 p.m. Eastern time, hit high the day 214 and pulled back. Broke out over 2, so simple setup there. Now, you hope to see this continue to hold over 2, move back up higher. I'll give this a shot. I feel like this has a little bit more oomph left in it heading into the afternoon, so I don't mind putting this on our main list for right now. Kind of skipped over the SENS trade from earlier today. This one took off pretty nicely also. Folks, coming off a holiday weekend, I would not have expected for there to be so many stocks to trade. Not only just the small cheapies here, but even some name brand stocks took off. IZEA, this looks great. IZEA taking off from 330-ish, just about up towards 4. Broke higher heading into the late morning, early afternoon, and obviously now on the way up towards 450. So this one's definitely more of a level 1 trade. I like this one a lot. I'll kind of put this near the top of our list, actually, for right now. I always like to try and prioritize the list, folks, based on like what stocks I like the most, what stocks I'm not as keen on right away, but maybe later on. LAC, I saw a break higher earlier. I was calling that out, but that one kind of dropped off. This AMC trade started to perk back up towards 320 high of the day. It just pulled back down a bit. I feel like this one is kind of, well, especially after this pullback here, I don't know how much more this one has left either. I kind of figured this. A lot of stocks on our side list, so to say, already. WWR, I mean, this stock just historically has made some huge moves for us in the past. Ended up back in October, and I know that Fausto always goes over this when he does the morning meeting, but we traded the stock back in October for the first time. It was one of the biggest moves I've ever seen, really, go from 2 to 15 or so. That's crazy. So it pulled back down, but it always leaves you to say, well, what if it makes a fraction of that type of run up again off of news? So, obviously, since that time has made a couple of big pops, drops, and now today running back up. Take a look on a few other trades here that are kind of in the same business, or they kind of move the same. Sun W, Pola, those look pretty choppy right now. I'm not as keen on those, at least. Nerve, NERV, this was also shortable in the pre-market. I wrote that down thinking maybe this would be a good short heading into the open. I mean, just pretty choppy chart. This wasn't really a big focus of ours after 9:30 as much, but goes to show this did drop off pretty nicely at some point. UAVS pulled back after just trying to break high off of 1250 a moment ago. So, this one still looks kind of strong, albeit it is pulling back a bit. I don't mind adding this on our list here, the main one. Yes. All right. See, folks, what we'll do here now at this point, not only hop over to the losers list, but we'll really try and be more selective, see if there's anything like making a much sharper move up or down heading into the afternoon. BlackBerry, obviously, on our list already. This one looks really strong on the way up to 12. All right, I'm going to jump to a stock right now, folks. I already skipped over, but I actually see it coming up on my Benzinga Pro right now. I'm going to jump to COCP. Stock's up 24+%, breaking new high of the day across the regular session. Looks like pre-market high was all the way up at like 205, 206. So I don't know what's going on with this trade here, but I like the move up heading into the afternoon. So I'll kind of slip this near the middle or near the bottom. All right. So, folks, if there's anything else that's like really making a big move up or down right now as we're talking, please let me know. If it's something that you're looking at as a swing trade, I don't really want to look at it. If it's something that, that just shows no movement, I don't really want to look at it right now. We have a big list like this NRBO, obviously. We're not going to focus on this, but, if you see something that looks like this, don't type it in the chat board. If there's anything making a really strong pop drop, then certainly let me know. Like that COCP, I put that one on. That one looked pretty good. Look at this, our short from Friday. CRTF, I forgot about this one for a moment. Ended up dropping off sharply after the market opened. It's actually at the lows right now. Just lack of trend otherwise. I mean, it's technically trending downward across the whole day, but the last like hour, 45 minutes, not much to it. Let's see, anything on the loser's end here? Fossil, familiar name. It's dropping off steadily, kind of spotty chart on the 1 minute. We've seen the stock take a huge hit going back into the end of 2020. Just dropped from like 14 bucks all the way down to like 9, pretty much where it's at right now. But it's kind of tradable. I mean, it's very well tradable. But again, another one of those situations where we already have a big list. I want to see more movement. I want to see more action, more volume. So I'm going to pass on that. EQT, a lot of range today on this one, at least down and then back up. Alrighty, folks, I'll toss it over to everybody here across both ends, the trading room and across social media, Facebook Live and YouTube. Let me know if there's anything else that you would want me to look at. And check out our side list here at the end too, of course. IZEA at 450. Yep, that one made the cut. All right, I don't think I see any other new stocks, folks. BlackBerry is pushing back up right now, new high of the day on that one. So that one already on our list, looking good. Got from YouTube here. There we go. Just flipped it over to YouTube right now. RJF asking about the FRSX trade. He's asking if there's one more last day push left to it. I normally say no to situations like this because it already made such a big pop earlier. It already dropped off quite a bit after. So to see it continue to not only move back up to break a new high and run from there, it's tough to expect. So RJF, one of our attendees on YouTube right now, just picked up 30 cents actually. I'll show his post right here for all of us on social media. Let's take a look. There we go. He got in at 970 right there. 30-cent profit on the FRSX he just picked up. Excellent exit, I'd say. Very wise exit right underneath those two big iceberg orders, 20K at 10, 53K at 10.01. And just a question here on YouTube. They're asking, which is the best laptop for trading if you want your career in trading, a Windows versus a MacBook? Uh, I've only worked off of Windows my whole life, or whole trading career. So it's not really the question. That's not the question you need to ask. It's a matter of the specs in the laptop that you need to look into. The RAM, the CPU, the GPU, everything else in between there. We talk about that right away in our Phase 1 stock course. Actually, nice segue. For all of our students live here, keep in mind, for all of us inside the trading room, Phase 1 we'll be doing actually tomorrow. We'll be starting the whole curriculum right from the top. Actually, we'll be talking about setting up your computer and platform, lo and behold. So it's a great question to ask here, a great segue. All right, so I think that just about does it, folks. I mean, we got our side list here. I'll kind of round off or finish up with here. The ACRS stock, GRTS check back in with. Looks like this is popping back up. The ACRS trade. So what did I say on this one? I said that with this breaking underneath 17 here at the time, well, we got to make sure it, begins to break down lower. It could be a possibility. It pushed right back above 17. It held 17. And look at this thing go now. So that drop off ain't happening just yet. I say that much. Given this pop, I'll put this on the main list at this point. Obviously, given the recent activity here, goes to show it's still tradable heading into this afternoon, both ways, long or short. And Leda is also saying at the same time, they have to be related. I played ignorant to the news earlier, so if anyone already knows that, let me know. But they've got to be related, right? GRTS, the ACRS, both moving back up right now, or at least both popping. And yeah, I'll put this on here too. All right. I always playfully say this, but it's really true. I have a big list heading into the afternoon. It's a very typical, traditional Josh, 15 stock watch list heading into the close. Givo, we're not going to trade at least just yet. AMC, same. All right. So, folks, at this point now, we'll kind of tally them up. We got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Actually, really not too many. 11 in total. I've been known to put like 13, 15, 16 on our list at times. I don't like doing that because it overwhelms us a lot. So, really from this list, folks, I say this all the time. A little free advice on social media because I said this inside our trading room earlier today during Traders Talk. Just start with a couple. Start with a couple. Trade within your comfort level. Trade within your skill level, most importantly. Don't try and go crazy on the ACRS, GRTS, even if they're popping now. If there's something like BlackBerry, TRXC that you're more comfortable following, stick with that. That's it. But try and stick with a couple to begin from this list. And then from there, if none of the stocks that you were looking at from the list are moving, then you start cycling through. Then you start working around, seeing if you can, follow us in the trading room, see if there's any other stocks from the list that are popping or dropping, and go from there. Alrighty, folks, for all of us on social media, as always, make sure to like, subscribe, and notify right on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/cybertradingu. Otherwise, feel free to join us Monday to Friday right in the Cyber Group trading room every single day. All right, folks, I'll talk to you soon coming up inside the trading room. Take care.